Okay, today we're going to talk about planting bulbs. This is the season between September, October, and November. You've got time to put your spring flowering bulbs right in the ground, and if you want to enjoy them in the spring, you got to take advantage of this time and do it during the fall months. So today we're going to plant some daffodil bulbs. This is a variety called King Alfred. It's the most common, popular, big yellow trumpet flower. I've dug a hole about 8 inches deep for daffodils, and I've made it about 1 foot wide, because what I'm going to do is put 5 bulbs in one hole. That'll make a nice big cluster in the spring, rather than single holes for each individual bulb. I'd like to do a cluster at once. It makes a better show. So with any bulb, it's always points up. You can look on the bottom where it's flat, and you can see last year's roots all dried up. So always point up. And in the hole, I'm going to make a little ring. And before we do that, we're going to add a little bit of bulb tone. And this is a fertilizer that you can put in the bottom of the hole, maybe about 1 teaspoon or more. Just mix it in a little bit. This will give some nutrients so that when the roots start growing this fall, you'll be able to take up those nutrients and provide nice, healthy flowers in the spring. So the bulb tone or bone meal. Bone meal works just as well. Both put out by Espoma. We use it here at the Garden Center. So let's just press them right into the bottom of the hole. What I'm going to do is put 4 on the outside and then stick one right in the middle. And now simply just backfill. Start gently so you don't tip the bulbs on their side, but backfill with your soil. And once you've covered them, then you can just push it right in. Fill it right up. Pack it just lightly. And if you had some mulch, which we moved aside, I'm going to bring the mulch right back over the hole. And you're ready to go for next spring. You do want to water it in. And the reason we do this in the fall is so they can produce some nice roots. And lastly, they do need to go through a chilling period. All of our spring bulbs need anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks worth of cold temps. So that makes it ideal here in New England. That's why we do it in the fall, is they can get that chilling period and grow some nice roots. So next spring, these will bloom in April, but you'll start to see them probably around the 1st of April popping up, and they'll have a nice show of flower. And we're going to move on and show you how to do some tulips. Okay, so I'm just a few feet away. We're still here in Evergreen's display gardens, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more of that bulb tone, which is an organic fertilizer for root growth, right in the bottom of the hole, and mix it right in. Now we're going to plant some tulips. Tulips don't need to be quite as deep. They're hole about 6 inches. And the rule of thumb is the bigger the bulb, the deeper the hole. So with a crocus, you'd be about 3 inches. Galatea, which is the snowdrops, maybe even 2 inches would be max. But on tulips, you do need to go about 6 inches deep. I've got a nice wide hole, so in this case I'm going to put 7 right in this hole. I've made it a little bit wider, and with a tulip bulb there's always a flat side. So again, points up, flat side on where the roots were last year, but points up, and I take that flat side of the bulb on the side of the point and I put that to the outside of the hole. And I'm going to make a ring of these all the way around. Again, you can see that flat side with the point up. There's a flat side and a rounded side. Keep the rounded side towards the center. That indicates where the first big set of leaves are going to come out. So when these bloom, you're going to have big leaves that'll come up and kind of flop and lean to the outside of the hole, allowing the flower bud to come right up the center. So there you go. We've got a nice ring. They're spaced about 3 inches apart. That'll give room for the flowers not to touch, and you'll have a beautiful display of cluster of tulips. This is a variety called Apricot Beauty, which is a very popular variety, hardy variety, kind of a coral color. So now we've got the bulbs in place. We're just going to now again gently place the soil over them so they don't tip on their sides. They'd still make their way up, but best not to make it too difficult for the bulbs. So now they're covered. Now we just bring our soil back in over the hole. Just firm it up in place. And again, if you have a little mulch, that can come right over. There you go. Now you can water it in, and Mother Nature will do the rest, and you'll have a nice surprise in the spring. Most tulips bloom in May. There are a couple of early varieties in March, but the majority of the popular ones are in May. So in April and May and next year, here in our display garden, we're gonna be looking at some pretty flowers. So take advantage of the fall season to plant your spring bulbs, and it makes a great family activity on a weekend.